Are your friends running away from you because you far too often give off a delightfully smelling gas? And is it time to improve your social life? We're going to be restoring that and a lot more right after this. Welcome, everybody. This is the Life Enthusiast Health Shots podcast, restoring vitality to you and the planet. I'm your co-host, Scott Patton. Joining me, as usual, health engineer Martin Pytela. Hey, Martin, how are you doing today?
Um, good. My situation is very peaceful here. No rumbling.
No rumbling. Sometimes mine is, sometimes mine isn't. And but we thought we would be talking about this. Before we get into it, we want you to know that we specialize in helping people escape the industrial food and drug trap. By understanding your unique genetic blueprint, you can turn chronic degenerative problems into stories of restoration and pain-free living. This is not a fantasy. This has happened to many, many people all around the world just by taking control of their health instead of just listening to what everybody tells them and or believing everything that they're told instead of doing your own research. So with that, today we're going to be talking about why gas and bloating happen. We're going to be talking about stomach acid, some bacteria that's in the wrong place, stress. Is there a time we don't talk about stress, Martin? And some practical strategies.
Yeah. Well, let me make it really dead simple. Fiber makes farts.
But we're supposed
Okay.
to get fiber.
And we are, right? But it's complicated, right? So let's start at the beginning. You can be either smelly or not smelly. You're either making carbon dioxide, which is fermentation. You know, when you're making wine,
Right.
carbon dioxide is escaping. You could be bloated but not smelly. And that usually happens when you underdigest carbohydrates. And there's a lot of carbohydrates for the microbes to process, and they make gas.
They're
The other
fermenting.
gas that you could be making is either hydrogen or methane. They also don't smell. But then there's the smelly one, the one that smells like rotten eggs, that's hydrogen sulfide.
Right.
And then there is the one that smells like something died in there, and that's the mercaptans. That's the putrescine and cadaverine and all of those crazy names of things dying.
Right.
So
So
that's the
welcome,
big
George.
technical. Yeah.
Just wanted to say a quick hi, George. Happy to see you. Anybody, if you've got some comments or questions, put them in because we are live. We are not AI and we're not recorded, and we answer them as we go. So
Yeah.
with that, we're going to go at a quicker clip than we normally do because we don't think we can get through the whole story before our half hour is up, and we want to respect your time and Martin's time. So bloating is not a single condition.
Yeah. That's right. And some of it is odorless and some of it is very noticeable, right? So is it? Well, whatever it is. If you are smelling sulfuric things, that's proteins getting all the way to the back end,
Y-
right?
Martin, you reminded me. My son makes homemade ice cream, and he was opening the container, and it was chocolate. I'm standing beside him, and I'm going, "Oh my God, that smells terrible!" And he looked at me and he said, "That's not the chocolate, Dad."
Poor guy. Anyway, and so when you have the wrong microbiome happening in the gut, that's when you have smelly things. But it doesn't start there, right? There we go. Smelly. Protein putrefaction, which is the problem is happening at the back end, but it's starting at the front end in the stomach. Yeah, your sound is off. There, and then there's the post meal swell, which is the expansion. It doesn't smell bad. That's the small intestine, and you have essentially the wrong microbiome happening there. And then there is the stress related thing. When your sympathetic dominance gets its upper hand, you're not healing fast enough, and you're swelling because your body is actually being injured.
So there are clues, and then you need to follow those clues to find out what exactly the problem is you want to fix.
Yeah.
And Martin, I don't know if we're going to be talking about this a little bit later, but this is a good time to bring in when you've got something like acid reflux and, oh man, I've got all this burning acid in my throat, and so I'm going to drink a bunch of milk or eat some ice cream or yogurt, something that's basic to battle the acidity. And the problem is not that you're too acid, but that you're not acid enough.
Yeah, this one is the biggest fallacy of the Western medicine. Uh, if you have it once in every while, you can easily overcome it with some baking soda or with some calcium, like Tums. Just eat some chalk, calcium carbonate. It will neutralize the acidity, and it will push the problem downstream. By that we mean the underdigested and badly processed food is going to end up in your small intestine, and hopefully the guys will deal with it there.
But
But
maybe not.
but if you make it a habit by going to a doctor and telling him, "Doctor, I have heartburn, it's acid coming back up," and they prescribe something to lower your acidity, the famous purple pill, you're actually making things worse, not better, because you're pushing the problem downhill, downstream.
And that's something we see a lot of. We see a lot of people who make their problems worse by doing things that they think is making it better.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a classic pharmaceutical thing,
Right,
solve the immediate, ignoring the consequence.
right. The flawed approach.
Yeah.
And the reality is, and we keep showing aquariums because it's such a good example of what happens
Yeah.
inside you.
Yeah. If your fish is unhealthy, do you treat the fish or do you treat the water?
And generally speaking, in our society, we treat the fish and we ignore the water.
Yeah. That's the classic, right?
Yeah. So let's talk about the acidity in our stomach.
Yeah. So only if there's sufficient acidity in the stomach will the upper valve close tight. So the GERD, the reflux, is actually caused by not enough acidity. You need peptic power. And to make the acid, you need to have enough chloride ions. And chloride comes from sodium chloride, potassium chloride, magnesium chloride. Start with salt. If you don't take enough salt in, you will not make enough acidity.
And all my life, Martin, all I heard was,
Don't salt.
Scott, you're eating too much salt on TV and
Oh yeah.
and it's just like,
Yeah, that's that fallacy of the sodium retention. The problem is this: stress and cortisol causes retention of sodium, which causes a rise in blood pressure. The problem is not the salt. The problem is the retention of the sodium, which is caused by stress.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well,
make
anyway,
sure you
so
get enough salt.
the PPE, it causes vitamin B12 and zinc deficiency. The B12 makes you tired and stupid. The zinc gives you immune challenges, which will include cancer. I remember a friend of mine, very good friend of mine, who was married to a doctor, so I couldn't offer any advice because
Mhm.
the doctor was the authority.
Right.
Had him on a PPE for 30 years. It's supposed to be no more than 6 weeks. But
Oh,
because he was suffering with indigestion, he continued. Well, so I wrote to him saying, I see the signs of vitamin B12 deficiency last I saw you. It's like that. He says, well, it's worse than that. I'm dying of lung cancer.
oh no.
That's the zinc and the immune system and all of that thing going to hell.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, let's look at the putrefaction cascade.
Right.
You
So
have
if you have
weak
weak acid, you don't decompose the proteins well enough. And so that underdigested protein, especially if you take an antacid, will make it into the small intestine still in the wrong state, underprocessed. And that's what's going to rot in the intestine.
So if it's rotting, we're going to be smelling it.
Oh yeah.
So that's really like a clue. Here's a problem, and you need to
Yeah.
talk to your health coach.
Yeah, let's make it really plain. If you produce smelly gas, your stomach is the problem.
And you can do something about it.
Oh yeah, you can acidify. We actually have, if you want to highlight the product, it's called HCl Guard. It will up the peptic power dramatically.
Let me bring it up.
Yeah. Anyway, so this HCl Guard, it's betaine HCl plus some pepsin. So it's not just, like you can buy plain betaine for $20. This one is double, but it has more stuff to it, and it's actually really highly effective.
Awesome. There it is. We'll put the link in the description and in the show notes.
Yeah.
And let me just get back.
Okay, and then the next slide. Yeah, we're now past the stomach. Now, now we have the SIBO, small intestine bacterial overgrowth and fungal overgrowth. So if you have bacterial overgrowth, you see, here's an interesting thing. So you have a sphincter at the top of the stomach. If you have gas in the stomach, you're going to burp. It's going to go upstream. Now, if you have the wrong kind of gas in the large intestine, there is a valve between the large and the small intestine, and it's going to burp upstream. It's called IC, ileocecal valve. And if it stays open, and it can stay stuck on open, you will be actually regurgitating large intestine content upstream. There are those arrows showing it, but they are actually in the wrong location. They should be shoving it out of the blue thing into the yellow thing.
Right, right.
Yeah. Anyway, so when you have that, it's the opposite travel of these microbes. They should not be going upstream. They should be only going downstream.
So let's talk a little bit about the healthy food paradox.
Fiber makes farts.
Yeah.
And so you need to eat high fiber food, but at the same time, you are ingesting prebiotics. The prebiotic is the fibrous stuff that the microbes live on and thrive on. And this is where the meat eater or carnivore diet gets its popularity. Because when you start eating low fiber diet, the microbes die down and the bloat goes away.
Right. And then we have our biological cleanup crew.
Oh, yeah. We need to have enough bile to get into the gut to deal with fats. And bile is made from bitter foods. So if your salads don't have enough bitter leaves in it, you will not be making enough bile.
Right. So part of the lesson is not everything you eat needs to be sweet and, oh, I'm so happy I'm eating this, because oftentimes those foods cause more problems than they solve. Yeah. And we're looking at you, potato chips and Coca-Cola.
You know what Germans did? They invented schnapps. It's the herbal bitter stuff. They sweeten it and make it with alcohol, so you take a shot of it before a meal. But it's in fact a bile stimulator.
Right. And what's the sweeper?
That's the MMC, the standard flow of sweeping action going downward or downstream, right? It's
Okay.
actually like a mechanical pumping action of the gut. Like if you could, when you're decorating a cake, you're squeezing a bag and it's coming out the narrow end. It's that sort of squeezing action that's supposed to take place. But when that's reversed, that's when you get the SIBO.
Ah, okay. Good. All right.
Oh, important point. Not snacking, not eating between meals, only eating 3 large meals or maybe even just 2 large meals a day instead of 7, or continuous grazing.
Versus, yeah, don't continuously graze. Have your meals and then have the break.
Yeah.
That's so hard for me. Like for years and years in my youth, I grazed.
Yeah.
I worked in a grocery store, so it was easy, right?
There's always food there, right? There was always a bag of chips open. There was always a bag of
There's
somebody that
always a
ripped a bag of
bakery.
nuts.
You go talk to the bakery manager, he hands you a muffin. He knows how to get on my good side.
Right on.
Okay, so we have this seesaw thing that happens between
Yeah.
the sympathetic and the parasympathetic.
Yeah, you can be only in one or the other.
So one is fight or flight, and the other is rest and digest.
Right. And so if you're stuck in fight or flight, your digestion is actually shut down or slowed dramatically. And when you sleep, it's automatically parasympathetic dominant. And that's when you actually flatten the belly, right? You wake up with a nice flat belly because your body has repaired itself overnight. But when you're active throughout the day, you're continually causing little injuries in the gut.
So the Spaniards have this thing called siesta,
Yes,
and around 2 or 3, they take a
they
nap
shut it
for a
down.
few hours.
You know what's interesting? Most of the Spaniards and Italians are the thyroid dominant types. So they are attracted to carby foods and alcohol. And so that's what they do. They eat carby lunch and have a drink with it. And of course, that knocks them out. They need to take a nap because they have gone overly alkaline. And
Right.
that's just the opportune time to allow the body to digest.
Yeah. So if they're not thyroid dominant, would it still be a good idea to take a rest in the afternoon if you're able?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm a great fan of taking a sleep in the middle of the afternoon and then perhaps do some work in the night. Like
Right.
what? There's this thing called the acid tide or acid alkaline tide. You're most alkaline at 2 p.m. and most acidic at 2 a.m. So theoretically, you should be awake around 2 a.m. doing some work, like taking a break from 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. to actually do something and then go back to sleep.
That's interesting. Cool. And I want to make a comment on it, but I know that we've got a ways to go, so I'm trying to be fast. Sugar, the environmental triggers. So we have our sugars, we have our grains, we have our dairy, we have our fructose.
Yeah, these are all the things that are going to make your bloat more significant. Yeah.
So stay away from the donuts.
Well, sugar alcohols are really weird things, right? Like they are the what are they called? I have this block in my head that can't think of what that is. Xylitol and sorbitol and all kinds of other erythritol. All these things that make food sweet but aren't exactly glucose. They're still not good for you. They still will cause this problem.
What about something like stevia?
uh, much less so. It's a much smaller volume, right? Like
Right.
it's about, I think it was 10 times sweeter than sugar by calorie or something
So you're
like that.
getting less, even though you're getting
Yeah,
the sweetness.
yeah,
And then we have the sugar from dairy, which
yeah. That's
everybody.
that's the lactose. Yeah. So if you make yogurt or kefir, then you get rid of the lactose that way.
Oh, okay. So it's not in the key. I've I drink kefir all the time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. When you ferment things, you get rid of sugars.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then we have our grains and gluten.
Yeah. Those are the biggest stressors of that whole thing.
So let's take a look at our 4-step ecosystem reset.
Yeah. This is the how do we fix the bloaty, farty world. So take the betaine hydrochloride. We showed you that. And supply and supported by bile salts if you need to. But number one job is more acidity in the stomach. That would be iodine, zinc, vitamin B1, lots of electrons like grounding or antioxidants and all of that. And then number two, make gaps.
Yeah, if the bloating and the gas is caused by bacteria, if you starve the bacteria, you won't have as much.
Yeah.
Kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
And then you want to support it.
Yeah. And that's, well, if you want to like deal with the excess glucose. So the metformin is the stuff that the medical world will use and biohackers will use. Metformin will interfere with your liver's willingness to convert things. There's natural berberine, especially when supported by milk thistle, will do the same thing as metformin will do, which is prevent you going into the type 2 diabetes problems.
Right. And so cinnamon is excellent for that, and
Yeah.
magnesium,
Yeah.
black pepper.
Yeah.
And then how do we, yeah, George says, the temptations, God, yes.
Yeah.
Resisting temptation is always the challenge.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And
Don't
then
don't leave me alone with a cake in the fridge.
That's right.
Yeah.
And now we want the 4th step is the vagus nerve.
Yeah.
And
And
that's
there's
really getting rid of stress, right?
yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And the vitamin B1 is really helpful. If you find yourself with low energy and stressiness and digestive problem, 100 milligrams of vitamin B1 will go a long way.
And breathing through your nose, slowing things down.
Yeah, diaphragmatic breathing.
There's lots of like meditational breathing that you can do, right?
Yeah.
In one nostril, out the other one, and vice versa. And
yeah, and especially the deep, slow exhalation, right? Inhale on 4, exhale on 8, or something like that.
Right. So we don't want to just treat the symptoms. We want to restore the right signals, fix the environment.
Yeah, classic, right? Always do not treat the presentation. You know, when the dog is barking, you don't want to cut his voice cords. You want to train him differently.
Or find out why he's barking, because maybe there's a big bear about to eat your chickens.
Yeah, something like that.
You know, it's the same old story, right? Like we talk about all the time. You're driving your car, the engine light comes on, you take your gum, you stick it over the engine light so you can't see it.
Yeah.
You know,
Problem solved.
Problem solved. Now I don't have that engine light on.
Yeah.
And that's not right.
Yeah.
So we want to take a look at a couple products.
Sure.
So shall we go with the?
Well, so if the HCl didn't fix it in the stomach, add to it an enzyme. So holozyme is made by the same company. It's a beautiful digestive enzyme, well put together. We have several digestive enzymes, but this is an example of one that has had a lot of thought put in it. You need to have all the bits in it to digest the proteins, fats, fibers, all the different forms. Like there are different enzymes like amylase, lactase, blah, 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 whatever. You know, I can recite the names of it, but it's the complexity of the food and being able to take it apart. When you cook food, you're causing the enzyme level to drop. So you need to supplement that when you eat cooked food.
Right. And shall we look at the tributylene?
Yeah, right. And so if you are not digesting the stuff at the back end, if you have consistent problems, whether you're diarrhea or constipation, switching back and forth, if regularity is an issue, if the smell is an issue, if the immune system is an issue, you're not making enough butyric acid, beta, hydroxy beta, beta hydroxybutyrate. Anyway, this is the supplement that you would want to take for that.
Right. And let's take a look at Philamet next.
Philamet is a short chain fatty acid supplement which is going to fix your large intestine problem. There was another one that you skipped, which is bicarbonate. So if you are not digesting well, the bicarbonate is the stuff you take just before bedtime that's going to set the pH correctly. I will soon start making available a pH paper for people to check their saliva, their urine, and their poop. And once you understand what you're doing, you'll be able to self-diagnose, decide which part of your system is off and what to take. The carbamate is great for fixing the bloat in the small intestine. That's the bloat around your belly button. And the other one, the Philamet, that's the one that fixes the bloat that's further down in the large intestine where you're having this explosive gassiness.
Right. So there's a natural, all natural, non-toxic way to look after your digestive system.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And then once you do that, then you will extract more nutrients out of the food. So you will be actually rebuilding your body correctly all the time.
And feeling better.
And you will feel energetic rather than barely pulling through the day.
Right. Awesome. Well, congratulations, Martin. We didn't think we would get through it when we were looking at this before, but we pushed it and
yeah, you forced me to not get into sidebars.
Yeah. Try not to tell too many stories.
Yeah.
But the stories are important because when people see that other people have been able to change their lives, then it gives them hope that they can change it as well.
Yeah.
And so George brings up brewer's yeast.
Of course. Well, that's an awesome source of vitamin B, the whole complex of it. It's a phenomenal, wonderful thing. Yeah.
So what do you do with brewer's yeast? Like for me, I think of yeast, I need to make bread. So
so the brewer's yeast is slightly different from the baker's yeast, right? Brewer's yeast is what you make beer with. Anyway, Saccharomyces cerevisiae is what this is. And it's, I don't know, well, the yeast is like a farmer. It will consume carbohydrates and in its process build proper cultures. We use that at Exula. We use Saccharomyces cerevisiae and we feed it potato starch, and with it we feed it minerals and vitamins, and it will actually reformat the ordinary into bioavailable. It's quite something. Yep.
Cool.
Great
so
suggestion,
something for
George.
everybody to look into more is check out the brewer's yeast. Thanks, George, for bringing that up.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We've come to the end of our time together. Thank you, Martin, for taking time out of your busy day. If you have any questions, please leave comments or head over to www.life-enthusiast.com and you can look up at the top. You'll see education and appointments, and you can make a free 15-minute consult with Martin and talk about whatever you need to talk about. And there's hope for everybody. And here I did have it. Okay, so life-enthusiast.com/appointment. So with that, thank you for joining us, everybody. This has been the Life Enthusiast Health Shots podcast, restoring vitality to you and the planet. We're live every Wednesday, 11:30 Pacific, 2:30 Eastern. Join us, ask questions, interact, help join our community and help it grow. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
My body's a temple, but the walls are cracked. Stuck in the rubble of the years I've stacked. Stagnation in my veins like a river turned to dust. Toxic whispers in the wind, but I gotta rebuild. I must.